All right, we're live. Welcome everyone to TableTalk, where we talk all things tabletop. I'm your host, the Bedluck Gamer, with my co-host Glue Boy.
Hello, hello.
And today we'll be talking about all your questions about Player Core 2. I have been parsing through the information. Hello, Gabriel. And I've been slowly digesting the book, preparing each of these videos. I haven't read through everything. I've been up until 3:30 a.m. posting each of these videos these last few days. It's been a lot. Granted, after today, it should get significantly easier because today's the last day of the classes that mostly got the biggest changes. But we'll have
and the
to
rest
see.
and the rest are just like mainly renaming light like alterations or slight buffs. Because I'll be real, in reading through like a lot of stuff on the other classes, a lot of the alterations I'm seeing are like little number bumps. I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing +1s turning into +2s like every once in a while, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, which is pretty cool for thievery. I'm actually happy to see thievery get a little bit more use, because currently it's just niche, honestly.
You can steal, and that's kind of it. I
You
am
can steal
also
and pick
really
locks.
into it.
So
I really like that swashbuckler. The swashbuckler one that leans into it. Dirty fighting, I think, is the feat. I'm very very into it. It's so cool.
justice for kobolds. Are you unhappy with kobolds, or are you happy with kobolds? Because that statement can be read one of two ways. Hello, my biggest requests are Eldritch Archer and Oracle. All right. Well, today let's get some news, if any. Alex, you got any news to share before we get into it? Because we're just going to get into it as soon as we're done.
Yeah, I've been unproductive for many different reasons. My roommate who helps me film is moving. He's been very busy. Our filming space has been taken up by a friend who had the fun double whammy of his AC broke. So he's been crashing here where we have AC. And then he lost his keys. So even if he wanted to, he couldn't go home. And his roommate was in another state, so he couldn't enter his house. Which that's where it turned out his keys were. So I couldn't film for a bit. And I'm also now working to set up a solo recording space, which I've got everything. I'm getting that ready. So, and I'm prepping for a Ren fair. So I got a bunch of other random stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's coming up.
That's Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's just been like I took a week off, which was the right call. Kind of week off.
Yes.
Not really week off. I was building a shed, which was ass. But I also got to hang out with some family. And I guess for those who haven't heard the news, I'm having a baby in early January. And it's a girl. And her name is Bellatora. So we've been prepping for Belle this whole time. Thanks, Black Mist, for the follow. So yeah, it's been a lot. A lot of stuff has been going on, and then literally, I waited, refreshing every like 30 minutes, almost all of Monday, for the book. It finally released at 5 p.m. So I was like, shit. But I got straight to work. I got my big changes video out, which, by the way, biggest brain play by me to release the biggest changes video. That's been popping up everywhere. I've seen it on thanks, Justin. I've seen it on Facebook. I've seen that video on Reddit, and it got a lot of traction. So that video was really, really good. That video also has netted me like 200 subs by itself now. So, big play on that. I saw Nonats just released his version of that video today. So, glad I got in on it early. But yeah, ever since then, I've literally, from the moment I've woken up, with a few like exceptions for things like my fiance's mother was here for a little bit, so we visited, and also, you know, just eating and using the restroom. I've been just working literally from like noon when I've been waking up, but that's mostly because I've been editing since 3:30 in the morning the day prior. So yeah, I've had 14, 15-hour days for the last, or 16-hour days even, for the last few days. It's been a lot.
Damn.
Well, it's so much more than people, I think, realize when it comes to this, because I do the changes video. So I have to review not just the stuff that came out in the book, but the stuff that we used to have before. And then I compile it, I check the differences, which I sometimes still miss despite my best efforts. And I also have to like understand what the changes are and what they represent. And to be honest, I also just don't have the most experience with some of these classes. So
Yeah, it's just a lot to like go through right away, but it is a good thing to just get, even if you're missing stuff, you're still getting a majority of the information out. Like you neglect a few things, but it's still just jumping in a lot of like promo stuff of, okay, here's a lot of the big number stuff. Just get ready. It just dropped. Here's what to expect going forward. Like, it's just a good idea.
yeah, so like I'm trying to give the most comprehensive changes, because that's what people are looking for, honestly. For people who are genuinely invested in these classes, and I'm doing my best to try to do my best for them. So yeah. Also, that sucks, Dead Phoenix. It always sucks having your sessions canceled multiple weeks in a row. Really kills the momentum. And thank you, Salahudin. Houdin. Sorry if I mispronounced that. It's also harder to read on my screen I have here. But thank you. I appreciate that. I've been doing my best. So, yeah. Alrighty. We're 12 minutes in. We might as well get started.
Yeah, like
It's
we
gonna be a
know
big
what we
video.
want to be here for.
A good day.
You know.
Alright. Ask your questions. I'll try to answer them in order. I know Oyman was here early, wants to know about the Eldritch Archer and Oracle, but you did not ask what about those you want, and I'm not doing a full review here for the thing. So ask a question about a thing, and I'll do my best to answer. If you want detailed information, stay tuned, subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing a video on everything as it comes up. I'm focusing on the classes first because that's the biggest thing, and then I'm just going to hop around to some of the bigger subjects people are talking about. So, and I guess if anyone's curious, Oracle is coming out tomorrow. Also, thank you, Alex Zemp, or Alex MP is probably the better way. 007. Thank you for being here.
Oracle changes are at least fresh off the dome, but I am curious, as someone who's just not very familiar with Eldritch Archer, did it get altered in a way that might like matter? Is it better, worse, or is it just kind of untouched?
You'll have to wait for a full review video on that one because I haven't parsed through the info yet. But Oyman did ask a question, actually. Is Oracle actually a 4-slot caster now, or do you think this could be a mistake? That's a genuinely good question, because I actually think it's a mistake. I think they printed the wrong table, because in every other section that mentions their spellcasting, it refers to them having 2 spell slots, which the table shows 3 at level 1, and then 3 spell slots in a later section. So I genuinely think the table is made in error.
Hmm.
So good question. I do think that table is an error. All the text refers to it, and I can read it here for the spell casting. Each day you can cast up to 2 first rank spells. This is from Oracle Spellcasting. So that's not reflected in the table here. And then it also doesn't make sense for how the repertoire casting is, because it also under spell repertoire it shows at 3rd level you select 2 second rank spells and so on. So I will say probably 100% the table is wrong and they're a 3 slot caster still. So good question.
I do see we got another question.
Sure.
Give us information on how Imperial Bloodline new focus spell Extend Blood Magic works.
Extend Blood Magic. All right, let's go ahead and take a look.
It's on page 265.
265.
I also have pulled up.
And which one was it? In
Extend Blood Magic for Imperial Bloodline.
Let's see. If your next action is to cast a spell that grants you a blood magic effect that lasts for at least 1 round, you or a target gain the blood magic effect for an additional round. You can only have 1 extended blood magic effect at a time. And they're just asking what this does. What's the question?
Yeah.
Give us information.
Give us information on how Imperial Bloodline new focus spell Extend Blood Magic works.
Ah, I see. Okay. So a big change with Sorcerer has been the addition of blood magic feats. So what that means is there are a variety of feats that can do some extra things. You might have seen it in my video that I posted about it. This focus spell allows you to extend the effect for an additional round. Is that good? I genuinely don't think so, if I'm being honest. Because you can have this essentially for as many rounds as you're casting your bloodline spells. So it feels very silly to spend a focus point just to extend it by 1 more round. Yeah, if it was a minute, it would be great. I agree.
Yeah, that honestly, because that feels really funky. Though I will at least mention something. It's something we were hoping when we were like speculating on Player Core 2 changes. It's still not as insane. I don't think I'm not going to oversell it in any regard. But I was comparing from Archive and Nethys with the Sorcerer Bloodlines. I gotta say, I like that they did extend outward some of the bloodline or blood magic abilities for the bloodlines. So if anything is like too specific, because I know one of them we've complained about is I think Aberrant was one where it's like, well, when that just is 1 small effect, and instead of just having gives you a +2 status bonus to will saves, you can do that, or give another target a -1 status penalty to will saves.
Yeah, which is more substantial. So
every single one that might have like this is situational, like a blood magic effect, has another effect that could be useful. So you always will get something. And then for a lot of the other ones, the numbers have just been pumped up either by like 1 or 2, which is very nice. Hag got a little bit of a bump. It's kind of cool. I think that's at least a good jump up. It seems like they just boosted the numbers for Sorcerer a bit, which is cool. I think that's a good change for Sorcerer. It's like we're talking about. It's like, this is a class. It's simpler designed. They want it to be played for newer players. So let's give newer players bigger numbers. It's less to manage, and then it's just more fun for newer people to learn how spellcasting works in this game.
Yeah, and I think it fits exactly the niche Paizo wanted to make for it. So that particular focus spell I think is kind of bad, not gonna lie.
Yes, I do too.
But what's super ironic as well? The benefit is not even for the Imperial Sorcerer's bloodline effect. because just the act of casting that focus spell would extend it essentially around, which is super silly. It's meant for feats he would have to select to get the additional benefit, which actually that's worse. Yeah, no, actually it's just worse because they would have been extended as well. Yeah, I don't know. That feat seems really bad.
I can see the idea of it, but I think that we were right, like you're right on the money, and chat was on the money too. Of like, just that it could have been a minute or like longer, even like a couple rounds
would have made that focus point way more worth it.
Yeah, like that's a focus point, you know.
Yeah.
I have so many better things I could spend a focus point on, and it is very funny. Oh yeah.
Some of them can be like, hey, that creature now is a -1 and all will saves for a minute. No save. Which is very strong. So
I take that over like, oh, my blood magic effect is 1 extra turn.
All right. A lot of people have been asking about Eldritch Archer, so let's take a look at Eldritch Shot. It says you're either wielding a bow or loaded crossbow. You cast this. It's a 3-action activity. You cast a spell that takes 1 or 2 actions to cast and requires a spell attack roll. The effects of the spell do not occur immediately, but are imbued into the bow you're wielding. Make a strike with your bow. The spell flies with the ammunition. Using your attack roll result to determine the effects of both the strike and the spell. This counts as 2 attacks for your multi-attack penalty, but you don't apply penalty after you've completed Eldritch Shots. So it looks like Eldritch Shot is exactly the same as it was before. Discount Eldritch, or discount Spell Strike.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, yeah. The interesting thing about it is it says, and this might have been the way it was before, but the result of the attack roll determines the effects of both the strike and the spell. And the spell that you cast into it doesn't state that it needs to be an attack-based spell. It's spell strike at longer range, to be fair. Well, yeah, or you could just play the ranged Magus build.
Magus, yeah. It is also very funny you say that Phoenix of Sorcerer being the blaster caster. That's like when this dropped, I told Cam this, hey, if you think there's something in here I'd like, let me know. He immediately was telling me about the Sorcerer changes, and right away I say like, oh, so this is just fixing all those people that were complaining about like Wizard got nerfed because their cantrips do 1 less damage. Just play Sorcerer, forehead. Like, what are you talking about? If you want to do like Blaster Caster, this is the way. Which, yeah, fair enough. I feel like if you're a newer player who wants to learn how this game works, playing a DPS caster is kind of a fun way to learn.
Eldritch Shot is limited to the first range increment. Yeah, but the longbow has a range increment of like 120 feet, which will cover literally almost any battlefield. So
yeah, unless your gem's doing a really big one, but that's most.
Technically, you're correct. In practice, though, and to be fair, the Magus version can also be used with guns, which, I mean, checkmate. I win gun.
That is cool.
You came to a gunfight with a bow. What a loser. No, I'm just kidding. But like, it's very, very interesting. Can I clarify if Paizo is okay? I've literally said it in the videos every time, so you're just not listening. But I'll do it here just for you, Niruk. Yes, Paizo is completely okay with you using legacy content. They don't care. It's your home game. You can do whatever. As far as society play, they have different rules for it, and I'm not the best resource when it comes to society play stuff. From my general understanding, you can use legacy content stuff as long as it hasn't like the same feat with the same name or spell does not exist in the remaster. But honestly, talk to your organizer anyway, and they should have the answer. So yes, Paizo doesn't care. It's not balanced that way, and there's obviously been big balances, and what you can and can't substitute out is definitely questionable, sure. But like for most feats and everything, like if something was removed, it's probably not going to break the game. regarding the legacy content, the sample build for Sorcerer literally has a legacy feat in the build. You know, honestly, they probably just copy pasted the builds.
Oh, I would not be surprised.
Or some of them, or they missed a name. That happens several times anyway, so that would be more likely the case. But yeah, they don't care. It doesn't matter. It's your home game. Anything is okay as long as your GM permits it. Like, that's literally a rule in the game that you can change the rules however you want. So yeah. I hear Eldritch Archer has a reload feat for crossbow for free. Let's double check. Eldritch Reload. Your last action was to make an Eldritch shot, cast a spell from a slot, or activate a magical piece of ammunition. You intellect or reload a weapon you're wielding. Yeah, you can reload crossbows as a free action now with Eldritch Reload at level 10. What is the wording on the champion archetype feat for champion's reaction? Do you just get the granted regular champion's aura, or is it inferior in any way? That's a good question. I will have a video covering all the archetypes, so no worries if your questions don't get... Like, I will have videos for everyone if I don't answer your questions here.
I just pulled up the champion reaction for the multi-class archetype. I can answer that right now.
Sure, go ahead.
The feat wording. Now, bear with me. This is really, really long feat here. Champion reaction, feat level 6. You can gain and use the champion's reaction associated with your cause. There you go.
But that doesn't state anything about the aura.
No. Champion's reaction, if it's just the exact feat, you get the reaction.
Yeah, that's just what it says.
Yep. I'm looking through. I don't see anything about specifically getting an aura. Yeah, you get a reaction. You don't get the aura.
That's an choose a cause. Let's see. You're bound by anathema. You can receive DV's divine sanctification. Choose a cause, as if you would. Thank you, Perrin Brick, for the follow. With the same option, a champion must abide by. You gain the edicts and anathema, but you don't gain other abilities, which means you wouldn't have gained the aura, which is actually counterintuitive. You begin to devotion. You can train light armor, medium armor, heavy armor whenever you gain class guarantee. Nope, they don't mention the aura. That's probably an error, and I'm going to assume you have the aura, because otherwise a lot of the feats you could potentially pick up through multi-classing wouldn't work. So it's not inferior in any way. You do just get the base reaction, so you don't get any of the extra benefits, but, you know, that makes sense.
Yeah, because that is interesting. Maybe we'll have to see, because I would assume people might point that out. If your entire class works around getting the aura, and then the multi-class don't give you the aura, but who knows, maybe it's intentional, but that feels weird.
All right. Thanks for the answer. The reason that's because Expand Aura requires Champion's Aura feature, and I was wondering if multi-classing... Yeah, that's so bizarre. They don't mention it, and I legitimately... The aura is just a more of a rules framework than it is anything beneficial to you, because it doesn't work for anything unless you do pick up a feat specifically. So I'm going to assume, at least as intended by Paizo, that you just get the champion's aura, essentially. How are the spells in the game? Has any of them changed? Yada yada. I will do a full spells video in the future, but I have not parsed through all the information.
Just immediately paging through the arcane spell list as I'm playing a wizard right now, I didn't see anything immediate that jumped out at me as being like overtly different So it's probably going to be very similar to what it was before with the initial remaster, where you might get a little shaken up with some name changes. But so far, I didn't see anything too crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't ask me wide-ranging questions because there's a whole video that will be coming out for that. I'll take specific questions because otherwise I'm not doing a review here for you guys for any particular class or thing. So
if we can page through a part of the book and like directly say it, it'll be easier too, because we also just might not know the answer off the top of our heads.
Yeah. Someone asked investigators did their
Chemical sciences?
alchemical sciences change? I will look that up real quick. Let's see here. I mean, it works more or less the same. So it's just you create versatile vials equal to your intelligence modifier. This applies to quick tincture, which does more or less the same thing that it did before. You can make either an alchemical tool or an alchemical elixir. But yeah. And I guess special mention, if you get versatile vials from any source, like from Alchemist, you can use any of the versatile vials you have for any ability you have which requires them. So you can quick tincture as well for alchemical tools if you multi-class into Alchemists. Hello, Mark D&D. By the way, who are you guys and what are you discussing? You can it's in the title of the stream, so I don't know. But hello, welcome. Do investigators get feats that interact with devising a stratagem? I mean, they did before. So, yes. If you mean new feats, I haven't gone through them all yet, so I'm not 100%. Honestly, just from a quick perusal, there really doesn't seem to be many new feats for Investigator. There's Surgical Shock, which is a new one. But that one doesn't interact with Devise a Stratagem. Yeah, if I'm being honest, not much in Investigator feats changed-wise, besides a few new ones.
Wasn't the main thing that changed with Investigator just opened up Devise a Stratagem?
Devise a Stratagem is now easier, yeah. Kind of. A little bit.
Yeah, like a little bit. That was, it widened it.
Investigator seems to had a few free. Yeah, some of the ones like Red Herring, I think, got absorbed because that's now just kind of a part of the general Pursue a Lead. I actually really like that change to Pursue a Lead because now at base, it's just if you're investigating something that the DM thinks is a waste of your time, they'll tell you. And if it's something that is important to the plot, they'll tell you. That's kind of the thing.
A whole feat, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember hearing that and being like, there was a feat called Red Herring where you had to go get a whole class feat for your DM to tell you you were wasting everyone's time.
And no worries, Brink. Thanks for the question. All right.
There are two quick questions that I know can be answered.
Sure.
First one, yes, and the ancestors mystery is in the book. That is a thing for Oracle.
Yes. All right. Actually, let's latch on to that one. All right. Let's talk about a controversial part of Oracle here.
Oh yeah, yes.
this deserves to be a part of the discussion today. So let's talk about Oracle in general. Oracle's changes are going to be highly controversial. I don't think that there's going to be any one solid conclusion. So as a if you liked Oracle before, you will probably not like it as much now, if I'm going to be honest. So the major thing that happened with Oracle is it was completely reworked around the mysteries. So mysteries used to be kind of like a gameplay feature, where many of the mysteries gave you penalties, but kind of bonuses as well. Cosmos being one of the, I think the more like, people really liked Cosmos because just right out the gate you gained physical resistance to which is insane. They just don't have that anymore. Mysteries now just predominantly give you access to different spells and abilities through their granted spells features, give you access to different domains. Each mystery now has 4 domains associated with them, and each one has an Oracle feat. Now, Oracle feats, some of them used to be revelation spells that you would have to pick up through feats, but now they're feats and they're no longer spells. Your revelation spells are there, and I just went through the list. Most of them stayed the same, but they no longer trigger your curse, so you can use your really good revelation spells more easily. For something like Ancestors, there's no longer the Ancestor Roulette. You no longer get skill bonuses or bonuses to attack rolls or damage anymore. That's just not a thing they do. So Gish-style Ancestors, not really much of a thing. Granted, they weren't the best because you could always just swap out that Ancestor. And Battle also doesn't get a bonus to like fast healing anymore, or the ability to wear medium armor. They do get a focus spell that allows them to treat martial weapons as simple weapons for the sake of proficiency. But other than that, there's just no benefits. Like the mysteries in total just give you access to things. There's no special benefits, and there is the curse, which is a purely negative thing now. But you use the curse as essentially a second set of focus points to use curse-bound feats, which are essentially spell-like feats that are pretty strong. And apparently you have to sustain that focus spell. Yes, but you can sustain that focus spell by hitting a target with your weapon. So if you fail to hit a target with like your first or second strike, you could use your third strike to sustain, if you really want to. But it will auto-sustain as long as you're hitting someone.
That's something, at least. Yeah, I can see why people might not be as into that.
Yes. So I will say, and Odantis, I already answered that question, but I'll give you a hit here. I believe it's a mistake. I still believe they're a 3-slot caster. But there's a table that shows 4 slots, but all the text mentions 3 slots. So I'm assuming the table was a mistake. I wish that focus spell would sustain on a strike. Which one? The battle one? The battle one does. Or you mean on just a strike and not a hit? Is that what you're talking about?
Like, don't even have to connect, just making the attack roll.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree, honestly, with that sentiment as well.
I guess they just want the opportunity that, like, it can be lost. So you have that moment where you have to, like, fuck, I guess I do sustain.
Was the scaling on Flurry of Claws? What's Flurry of Claws?
I did have this. It's the first level sorcerer bloodline thing.
I see.
1 second, I can pull it up. Flurry of Claws. I can read it. Flurry of Claws is it is in fact the initial damage when it's heightened. Heighten 1, the initial damage increases by 1d8, and the additional damage increases by 1d4. Because on a hit, it deals the creature takes 1d8 slashing plus 1d4 additional damage of a type determined by your magic tradition related to the dragon you chose. So it's a d8 and then a d4.
Yeah, so it's a d8 and d4.
Yep, and a +1 for every level.
So, any other questions on Oracle before we move on? Because I do see a question here for Poisoner, which is another one I will talk about as well. Retrocrit, I'm not doing full reviews right now, so I'm not going to give you the answer on all the different changes. I did talk about Alchemical, and it seems more or less the same. Wait, did Draconic was that the Draconic Sorcerer one?
Yes.
Yes, apparently it got changed. Are there any changes to the focus spells? I'm not answering wide-ranging questions. Some focus spells in some areas, yeah, have been changed, sure.
Some got like little increases, like random places, because some are like +1 is now +2, or do like slightly different damage. It's very wide-ranging.
Yeah, so are there changes? Yes. Good question. Moving on. With the Oracle, is the Life Oracle not as good? See, now, yeah, technically, yes, it's no longer as good because it no longer gets a bazillion buffs to healing effects. So, yeah, technically, it's not as good anymore. A last one. What is the curse for Ancestors like? I can answer this question. Ancestors Curse makes you, I believe you just become clumsy based on the level of... Clumsy based on your curse-bound condition. Yep. That's it. You just get a you become clumsy based on what level your curse-bound condition is.
Yeah, they're trying to assist you and also mess with you.
All right, the Paizo changes hash and dedication feats. Okay, let's check the dedication feat itself. We can do that. Then we'll talk about Poisoner after that. How about this? I am happy for your questions. Don't make my curmudgeon-y kind of sounds dissuade anyone from asking questions. But we have a lot of questions, and I like to get as many answered as possible. So, let's see. You get marked for death. You no longer, I think, need to be trained in crafting. You just need to be trained in deception and stealth.
Pull it up on Archive of Notes real quick.
Let's see.
Yep, the crafting training is taken away. And the alchemical crafting feat requirement.
Okay. And then read over Mark for Death. Or look it over and then check it, double check it. But it looks mostly the same. I think did it also used to give proficiencies?
I'm looking just at the base dedication. The base dedication for Assassin, all it gives you is the Mark for Death ability.
Yeah. Okay.
But let's see. 3 action ability. Let's see its effect.
Oh, interesting. So no longer do agile and finesse weapons you use with it get deadly and backstabber. Now you just get you just get the sneak attack class feature.
Yeah,
it's a D4 and it doesn't increase the number of dice.
Look, yeah, it scales. It looks like.
So no longer is it Backstabber and Deadly, which I'm very sad. I really liked Backstabber on it, honestly. But now you just get the Sneak Attack class feature. It does D4 Precision, and it does increase the number of dice, and it becomes a D6 at level 6. And if you already have Sneak Attack, it does an additional Precision damage, increasing to 2 at 6. So they fused in the Sneak Attack feats into the main one, but no longer do your Agile, Finesse, and Unarmed attacks gain Backstabber and Deadly D6. And no longer does it increase the die size of Deadly D6. Anarchist, I'm not answering full ranging questions, so I haven't gone through it yet either, but I'm not going to look through all the focus spells at this point in time. I can answer individual questions, though. Poisoner, right. Who had a question about Poisoner? I saw a question earlier about that. Oh, actually, that one guy asked a question. It's Dragon Blood, whatever it's called, he says, a flexible or universal heritage? What's a universal heritage? Is it worth it to do a Dragon-Blooded Kobold? It's a versatile heritage, I think was the word you were looking for. Yes. And is it worth it? I don't know. You tell me. They
Whatever
have more
dragon-blooded.
They have more dragon-related feats. So if you want more dragon in your Kobold, yes. I will get to you here in just a moment, Black Mist. I see your question, but I want to answer the Poisoner question. Was that on YouTube?
I don't remember. I didn't see a Poisoner question.
I did see it briefly. I've lost the question. I'm sorry. So let's get it to you. Since I'm the professional sorcerer questioner, how do angelic halos work now? Used to be a status bonus to healing, but that won't work anymore. What was that page again?
For the focus spells?
Let's see. 256. Sorcerer. Angelic Halo. You gain an angelic halo with an aura that increases allies' healing from heal spell. Allies in your halo's emanation who are healed by a heal spell gain a status bonus to hit points regained equal to double the heal's spell level. That's interesting because does that conflict with the sorceress potency? I'm going to double check. I mean, I'm sure if it does, the intent is the halo gives you more. Yes. So it does conflict. So yeah, the halo now, it doesn't stack with sorceress potency, which kind of sucks, but it's double the level. So technically it is just double healing while the halo is active.
There is another question. There was a question about Key Strike for Monk, which I pulled up the new because they did change the name and the wording a little bit actually for Key Strike, because it is now called Inner Upheaval.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll read it out.
Okay.
Make an unarmed strike or flurry of blows. This doesn't change the limit on using only one flourish per turn. You gain a +1 status bonus to your attack rolls with strikes, and the strikes deal 1d6 extra damage. This damage can be any of the following types of your choice, chosen each time you strike: Force, Spirit, Vitality, or Void. So yes, it has changed. It used to just do an extra d6 damage. With like a +1 bonus to hit, I think.
Well, it also did alignment damage.
Oh, it did let you change the damage type.
Yeah, it used to do alignment damage, so. The Lightning Key, the new level 6 monk feat, or any changes to elemental fists. Okay, is the
Lightning Key is a 20 level feat.
Okay. Let's take a look at that, shall we? Ba-ba-ba-ba.
Very, very down for what they've done to Monk, to be honest.
Okay,
they made one of my favorite classes.
Level 20 feats. Requires key spells. You can use this once per minute, and it's a free action. If your next action is to cast a key spell that takes at least 2 actions to cast, reduce the number of actions casted by 1 to a minimum of 1 action. So, your key spells can be now typically 1 action, which could be good. I haven't looked through it all the way, so that might be better. Did any of the Player Core 1 classes get new content or just the new classes? None of the Player Core 1 classes, I think, got any new content now. Other than spells and item access.
There is heightening for inner upheaval, by the way.
Okay,
I just didn't read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, still heightens.
What about Elemental Fists for Monk? I think it does the same thing it used to do before. We'll take a look. Is it? There it is. In addition to the normal damage types you can deliver the extra damage with the elemental magic, adding the element's trait and changing its damage types to air, which is electricity damage, earth, which is bludgeoning damage, fire, which is fire damage, metal, which is slashing damage, water, which is cold damage, or wood, which is bludgeoning damage. So yes, it got improved. It now includes the water or wood and metal elements. Not that it's doing a different damage type, but they have those traits now, which may be relevant. Do any of the Oracle feats heighten? No, Oracle feats don't heighten. Well, okay. Yes and no. That's an interesting question. So, many of the Oracle feats, the Cursebound ones, they do now do more typically based on what your Cursebound's condition level is. If any of you saw my video, the Dead Walk one, you essentially get more ghost attacks based on how high your Cursebound trait is. So, yes, they technically do heighten, but it's just based on how high your Cursebound is rather than like spell rank. Did they reprint the familiar abilities that give alchemists benefits? Are you talking about the poison one? Let's see here, 170. Because there used to be one. Poison Reservoir. Yes. They had a Poison Reservoir. There's another one I'm not familiar with. But those are the only two that... Poison Reservoir and Second Opinion were the only ones added in this book. Oh, and Extra Alchemy and Extra Vial. Yes. So there's those alchemical ones as well. So, yes. They all got printed
in. Christopher G. So... Stumbling Feint is not on the martial artist archetype. There are 4 feats for martial artist alongside a lot of the monk feats that they can have access to. You can get the Dedication, Follow-Up Strike, Grievous Blow, and Path of Iron, and that's it.
Yeah, they do not have Stumbling Feint anymore. Which is weird and may be an error. Who knows? I don't know why they would take it out, since you can get stumbling stance.
Yeah, I know, right?
So that's probably an error, and I would let you in my games for what that's worth.
Honestly, I don't see why you would like take that out.
Is crush and grab still bad? I don't think it was bad in the first place, so this is probably just in a matter of opinion thing. But I'll read to see if it's different.
Just like how I saw an immediate thing on the Reddit saying that whirling throw is now bad for monks
Right,
because
because
it
now
now
it
has the
applies the
attack
attack
trait.
trait. I mean, yeah, it's technically a nerf. But is that bad? I wouldn't say so. It just makes sense.
And
But
all
it
the
is
other
a
grabs
nerf
are
by all
attacks.
definitions. Stumbling Feint requires Fury Blow, which martial artists cannot get. Oh, I thought it was.
Oh,
I thought it was before it was a strike or flurry of blows. Was it not? I'll have to double check. When you successfully grapple a creature, you can deal bludgeoning damage to that creature equal to your strength modifier. You can make this attack non-lethal with no penalty. It's the same crush and grab as the same it was before. I feel like that's good if you're going in a grappling build, because now you just do extra damage whenever you're doing the thing you want to do.
yeah, just more damage on top of it is pretty cool.
Crush and grab is just a bit underwhelming. The point of crush and grab is not that the feat itself is supposed to be substantial. It's a amplification of literally everything else. So if you're doing a grappling build, why not do extra damage?
It's a playstyle like addition, because there's many times you'll see it in games where you build something and you'll find something where it's like, this rewards you for playing the game you were playing. And it's like, oh, neat, because it's just a flat bonus. It's a flat increase.
I wish it was one strike or Fury of Blows, but it was only Fury of Blows. Was it how it was before? I'm sure you guys are telling the truth. That does seem strange. And I apologize if I don't get into any of your questions here today. There's a billion people. Well, there's 30 people asking questions all at once. So we are doing the best. But I want to make sure that we had this opportunity, since it's going to be a while before some of these questions will probably be answered for you guys.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do my best.
What is the advanced weapon feat for monk-like? I can answer that very easily. For the purposes of proficiency, you treat advanced monk weapons as if they were martial monk weapons. I know that was a change as well that you mentioned in your big changes, is that monastic weaponry, the level 1 feat, is just been widened so more weapons count as monk weapons.
Yeah, no, Stumbling Feint before used to require Fury of Blows. It makes sense why it got removed, but I understand why people would be upset about that, because now you can't free archetype select your stance feats, essentially, and take your other monk feats, which is a little sad. Yeah, it makes sense. I understand why people would be upset.
I do too.
Archer, what's the state of their level 6 crossbow feat and their level 8 reactive strike? Good question. I know a lot of people have been asking about Archer because everyone is afraid that the +2 bonus is going to go away.
One of the best archetypes in the game.
I mean, it's true. Crossbow Terror. Was that the feat? Interact to reload a crossbow and then attempt an intimidation check. Gain a +2 status bonus to this check if you succeed at a strike with a crossbow. If you have succeeded with a strike of a crossbow this turn. Why did I close Archive and Ethos? That seems different. It's been ages since I've done Archer.
So they're like one of the first ones.
Yeah, it's true.
Let's
Crossbow training. Crossbow training isn't here.
It's Crossbow Terror originally too.
Well, there's Crossbow Terror, which is here. So I guess, what was it? It was Crossbow. They're not all showing up on my screen. Oh no, I lost that message. Oh, here it is. What's to say of their level 6 crossbow feat and their level 8 reactive strike? So I guess I don't know what feat to which you're requesting, but the level 8 reactive strike, they don't have one in this book. And they didn't have one before. So I don't know what you were talking about. From People's Talk, all the avenues fighter had to cheat their one weapon group restriction to their proficiency got closed off. Martial artist, archer, and mauler were all fixed up. Oh, is that what a lot of people are upset about? For the purpose of proficiency, treat any of these martial weapons as simple weapons. Oh, they did! Ah, they did. Yeah, interesting. So yeah, no, art fighters can no longer have dual legendary proficiencies at what was it, level 11 or something? No, something around that. Anything particularly strong for Swashbuckler that you notice? Yes, your precision damage from your precise strikes now can be done anytime without the need of panache. Panache is only necessary for different features that require panache and for finishers. So overall, swashbucklers will have an easier time doing their extra precision damage. 5 and 13. 13 is what it was. Yeah, so 13, they no longer can get double. Thank you, Easy, for looking that up.
All right, very useful explanation as well from the change to the crossbow tear.
Yeah, I see it.
Seems like a very tiny one.
So the crossbow tear, well, no, it is vastly different now, because the old one was you gain a +2 circumstance bonus to damage with crossbows. This one is now interact, reload a crossbow, and then make it demoralize. You get a +2 to this check if you succeeded a strike with a crossbow this turn. So no extra, just bonus damage with crossbows.
Man, they destroyed Archer. It's
Archer's now the worst archetype ever. Who would take this archetype? It makes no sense. If I can't get double master proficiency and also do way more damage with crossbows, then what's the point? Bonus damage feats bad, genuinely. I mean, they're bad for the health of the game in general, I'll agree with.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. That is also true. Easy does points out the swashbucklers had some of their skill increases opened up.
Yep.
You get a lot easier of skill increases for what style you pick, which I at least really like the swashbuckler change, because it was something we've complained about. We've been very vocal on TableTalk, where we talked about like there's a right way to play swashbuckler. There's a play order. There's the exact turn order you have to do. And that's not fun, because it's not really what a swashbuckler is. You should have the freedom to do a lot of crazy cool stuff. You can't really do that because you're going around the panache game. They really made swashbuckler a lot cooler.
Yeah,
I'm super into it.
Can you tell us the first swashbuckler feat that requires panache? This is from Rush's. I had a hard time reading the name. The first one? Sure.
There's one that requires panache.
Type in panache. So
I see flamboyant athlete.
Yeah, flamboyant athlete. So while you have and this is what they had before. You gain a climb speed and swim speed equal to half your land speed. The DCs for your high jump and long jump decrease by 10. This doesn't combine with other abilities that reduce those DCs. The distance you can move from a vertical leap increases to 5 feet. Your distance for horizontal leap increases to 15 feet. if your speed is at least 15 feet, or 20 feet if you have at least a speed of 30 feet. So Flamboyant Athlete does require it. Every single swash complaint most people have been swashed. I don't know. Yeah, pretty much.
I agree.
And now, also, Panache actually did get a buff as well. So not only they didn't even need to make the change to Precise Strike with the Bravado trait. So any actions that essentially give you Panache have Bravado. Even if you fail those actions, but not critically fail, you have Panache until the end of your next turn regardless. So as long as you're doing something Panache-worthy every round, you would have just had it anyway. That existed already. Yeah, I mean, if you didn't ask for anything new, you just asked for the first one.
That is true. As well, I'll say the new style, the Rascal style, is very, very cool. The whole idea of fighting dirty, and you're just using underhanded tactics, and it gives you a new general feat, the Dirty Trick feat, which uses thievery. Which what it exactly does is, I'll read the feat real quick. It requires that you have a free hand and within melee reach of somebody. You hook a foe's bootlaces together, pull their hat over their eyes, loosen their belt, or otherwise confound their mobility through an underhanded tactic. You attempt a thievery check against the target's reflex DC. On a normal success, crit success, they're clumsy 1 until they use an interact action to end their impediment. Success as a critical success, but the condition ends automatically after a round. Or on a crit fail, you fall prone and your attempt backfires. So yeah, I'm very, very into that. Full on, like, fighting unfair swashbuckler. I'm so into it. Also, it's something we mentioned, just more use of thievery. Just all around swashbuckler, you get to play a lot more free. You don't have to just play the game of like, I got to do this to gain panache. I got to do this. You just kind of will have it more often, which means you get to just do more fun actions. You get to focus on just being cool. It's we've talked about it in our Discord, honestly, but it's the idea of like, I want to play a swashbuckler with self-esteem and confidence. Like, I'm not here to impress the enemy or like hurt their feelings or whatever. Because if I try to stunt on a slime, but oh no, they don't have intelligence, they can't comprehend what's happening. Whatever. I want to play a swashbuckler that's doing it for himself. He has self-esteem. He's not, seeking out approval from everyone else. Just I'm doing it to look cool. I'm trying to play Devil May Cry in my Pathfinder. Does Agile Finisher still exist? Let me look. That's an easy one to quickly check. Well, I Control F Agile Finisher and nothing popped up. Might have been renamed.
All right. I'm back.
Hello.
I can scan with my eyes real quick. Nope, no more Agile Finisher.
Oh, okay.
So I'll do one extra pass because I've been wrong before. Nope, no Agile Finisher.
Yeah, I did a Control F and I didn't see it.
Well, there's also just a swashbuckler feats by name table.
Yeah, that's where I looked first, and then I Control F.
If you're a gourd lushy that trains in swashbuckler, does that make you a squashbuckler? Ha 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 ha. Do you think Explosion of Power will be useful? Think it might allow for Gish builds. Explosion of Power comes from where?
It's a sorcerer, level 8 feet.
Level 8 sorcerer.
Blood magic. Raw power explodes outward from you. Each creature within a 5-foot emanation takes 1d6 per rank of the spell you just cast. Basic reflex save. The type of damage depends on the tradition of your bloodline. If you cast arcane spells, you deal force damage. If you cast divine spells, spirit damage. Occult, mental. Primal, fire. You just become a bomb. It's kind of based.
I do like that one, but it does play on a couple bad parts of Sorcerer. One, Sorcerer has terrible HP. Two, because it's a 5-foot emanation, you essentially need to be within reactive strike range to get this off. So enemies that have reactive strike are going to be a nightmare. Granted, I will say most enemies don't have it, which is good. But is it good? Yeah, I mean, obviously it's good, because it's like, oh, I'm dragon, so I, rather than getting an AC, I explode and deal damage, and it's per spell rank D6. Like, it's just an extra effect too. Like, once you pick the speed up, that just can happen when you used a blood magic effect. It's potentially really good. God, yeah, the Godbreaker, like, it's a cool feat, right? But the thing is you're all talking about level 20 feat. Like, it doesn't matter if it's good or not. And it's not really a trap feat at level 20, because you're not going to play with it a significant amount of time for it to matter anyway, standardly. So
yeah, there are my two opinions on Godbreaker. Opinion number one, who cares? You're never gonna use it. Like, have you ever been in a level 20 campaign? No, then it doesn't matter. It's not a trap feat. You're never gonna get it. So yeah. Whatever. Number two, wah, it's cool. So I'm gonna use it anyway. Step aside, losers. Oh, but it's not optimal. You could attack. Nuh-uh, I'm gonna chain grab somebody to the sky. I'm gonna use it anyways. Consider me falling in the trap. I've gone in. Apparently it's a Naruto move. I've never seen it.
Yeah, like,
I don't know what it is.
There's been a bunch of things. Also, thank you, Jared. Finally, the poison questioner came back. Is poisoner still limited to level -3 poisons with no way to increase the DC? No. That's just not the thing anymore. In fact, for most of the case, that's just not the thing anymore. So yeah, poisoner's fine. It works just as well. All stuff you make with the infused trait, which is advanced alchemy and quick alchemy, now automatically heightened to your class DC. So it's really good.
Monk kind of got the short end of the stick. It was already good. They opened up Monk and they added some fun new feats. They're good, and Monk is cooler. So no, you're wrong. And also, Godbreaker is not boring. No, Godbreaker is cool. Like, I don't know what part about reading through Godbreaker is like boring. It's like, that's sick. That's a sick image. I want to do that.
I will say it is not for creatures that are like lower level than you, but for creatures that are close to your level or above your level, it's really hard to get all of it off, because you have to hit essentially 3 strikes consecutively with full map at the end, which is -8 if we're going with agile, which is still hard even if the enemy is off guard. So it's really hard to get it. Yeah, we've seen how that's gone in our games recently.
No, that was you almost critting every single reflex save. Still, easy. Watch me. You're gonna use it and fall prone. No, I won't. Watch me. I'm gonna use it and hit it every time. Well, everyone in this chat are cowards.
And if everyone says you're gonna fall prone, why would you not take catfall?
Yeah.
Why would you not take the many? There's also just other monk features that let you get essentially what used to be featherfall. So like there's so many ways to counter that, and the best part is most enemies don't have those ways. So even if you just hit only the first strike, they fall 40 feet.
If for whatever reason I would get to play to a game that would let me use Godbreaker, I'm simply going to play up to a monk that is going to be the ultimate grappler. I simply won't let that happen. Checkmate. Like, I don't know what you want from me. I'm gonna use it. It's gonna be cool, and then people are gonna be sad that it's unoptimal or whatever. I'm just gonna tune you out as I continue to chain grab somebody into the sky, because that's the coolest fucking thing I've ever heard. As everyone else is like, I'm gonna take this level 20 feet. It slightly optimizes my build. Like, snooze. Boring.
Also, did we notice that Sione is the dragon on the cover? I did not, but it was I've known about this information because yeah, Sione is the witch, right? Or is she the sorcerer? Sorcerer. Yeah, she's the sorcerer. I'm dumb. Yeah, that's the sorcerer who's turned into a the creepy flesh dragon, deceiver dragon.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, we did pass through this. They didn't mean agile finisher, they meant combination finisher. It is still there.
Combination finisher is still there, yes.
Yes.
Do you now have to take poultice preparation as a herbalist because it now has 2 feats after dedication? What? Do you now have to take poultice preparation as a herbalist? I think I understand where you're going with that. Let me take a look at herbalist. I know my alphabets. Let's see.
Oh, someone asked if Monk still has the shadow stance. Yes, it is in here.
I do love the shadow stance. It's actually one of my
It's
favorites.
very cool.
Let's see. Do you now have to take the poultice preparation as a herbalist because it now only has 2 feats after the dedication? Oh, I understand the question now. Yes. Well, actually, no. Technically not. Because the player core, well, 1, any legacy content you can take as long as you get your GM's permission. 2, player core 2 was just Advanced Player's Guide and Core Book. They have Gravelands Herbalists, which is from Knights of Last Wall, so you can take that one. But yeah, so I guess you don't have to take it, if that answers your question. What give you the new Oracle? I think you mean, what does the new Oracle Herb dedication give you?
Though, I will say real quick, because it's a very, very quick question. It's been asked a good few times.
Okay.
Path of Perfection Monk ability class feature is unchanged. Do not worry.
Okay, good answer. I'm gonna be super honest. Oracle dedication looks rather unchanged. So, yeah, it's pretty much the same. Is there any classes that you weren't super into before that Player Core 2 that changed your mind on them? I will say I got more hyped for Alchemist. I always liked the idea of Alchemist, and I always thought it was really cool, but there was definitely something about it that kind of made me not as interested in it. So Player Core 2 definitely made me more interested in Alchemist. Yeah, that's about it.
Player Core 2 made me way more interested in Champion, since the move to make Champion a lot more opened up design wise interests me, because just the fact that one, it's moving out to the idea of like allowing you to play a neutral paladin appeals to me. I love me some paladins. I love me like that vibe. I'm not. I like just having the character freedom in it, and I always just kind of felt really uninspired in Pathfinder's Champion. And the other fact of just kind of being a little restricted in how I felt the playstyle was, being reliant on kind of like the reaction, it wasn't my playstyle. And now that I'm reading through the Player Core 2 Champion, I feel like they opened up the class to a fun amount where I'm like, all right, this is my speed. I like how this is kind of looking. And I have some ideas. Cam's given me an idea, and I'm here for it. I can't wait to play a gunslinger champion.
Alchemist was really hard to play, right? Yeah, I would say so. The thing with Alchemist, and it's still kind of the thing, is the skill ceiling for Alchemist is still sky high, but they made the floor so much lower. The versatile vials just gives you an easy alchemical item that you can rely on to do a lot of your core features. Alchemical science did not change with Investigator really all that much.
Oh, this is a question that's been asked. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times tossed in. It's a question we kind of basically just answered. Is there anything in Player Core 2 that you've seen so far that you've just absolutely loved? Any changes that you're a major fan of?
Alchemist changes.
Hell yeah.
Alchemist changes. Alchemist just looks really good. I think the thing that a lot of people don't understand is I have to parse and understand all the information and compare it to the old stuff from my videos. I've not read a lot of this book, to be straight up honest. That's why I can't answer most of y'all's questions when you say, like, how is the archetypes? I don't know. I haven't read them yet. It takes me literally 10 hours to make a video for a class specifically. So
I know some of the changes to, like, I can quickly refer to Monk, Swashbuckler, and Sorcerer, only because I've played all 3 of those. And so I'm like, oh, I know that feat. I can, like, jump over to it. And those are the classes I jump to, because I've been, like, paging through it today, and I'm like, easy. I know what's altered. Then the other ones I'm looking through. For myself, I'm a big fan, funny enough, of how all 3 of those classes have been treated. I'm a big fan. So far I have yet to see a change that I'm like majorly disappointed by, but granted, I'm also easily pleased. I like the game, and I don't know. I get a lot of character ideas, and I'm like, ooh, nice. This looks fun. I want to use this. I don't care about the optimization of it. I just want to use it and play with these new toys. I want to make some of these characters real bad. I just gotta wait for Divine Mysteries to make some more divine characters, because it seems like they're gonna make some fun additions.
Someone asked if Poisoner and Herbalist gave you versatile vials. They do not. They give essentially the advanced alchemy benefits, but those 2 things no longer cross like they used to. So no more reagents. You just make things at the beginning of the day, essentially. Can you combine alchemical science with alchemist dedication to get both versatile vials? Yes, in the vials. The number of versatile vials you have do not, or take the higher of the 2, but you can use those versatile vials on any class feature that uses them. Can anyone confirm if using the alchemist vial consumes a use of your versatile vials? Are you talking the quick alchemy wording strictly seems like you have infinite versatile vial uses, but the wording is odd. Yes, so the quick vials specifically are infinite. Yes, if that answers your question. So whenever you use the quick vials, that's a different thing than the versatile vials. They act like versatile vials, and when you throw them, they do the versatile vial bomb. But rather than normal versatile vials, which stay until or stick around, the ones you make with quick alchemy go away at the beginning of your next turn. So yes, you do have infinite quick vials. Does Herbalist stop you from manually crafting I mean, it doesn't stop you from crafting, it just doesn't give you the access to do so. Let's see. No, all the crafting Herbalist dedication does requires that the consumables have the healing traits. That wording could be much better. I agree, but it does seem to make sense because they specify the vials can't be used for consumables, meaning they're different things. But I agree, the wording could have been better. Anything about Gonzi or Apparites? No, neither of those. They are not planned for currently, or at least not that the public knows. Are ancestries in Player Core 2 really cut down, seeing as Damfire have fewer bloodlines and Kobold lost feats to Dragonblood? Does Bone Oracle still exist? The previous indicated ancestors in life might have aided. No, Bone still exists. And I will say, of all the Oracle playstyles, technically, Bones mostly just got a benefit. Like, it doesn't do a lot of the... There's no longer mystery benefits. I talked about this earlier. Oracle video coming out tomorrow, by the way. Bone still is there, so it's relevant revelation spells are there. There's no more of the stuff. Anything that your favorites mysteries used to do, they don't do it anymore, typically. So... How good is the Dragon Ancestry? It's okay. It's got some cool dragon stuff. I wouldn't say it has a lot of wow factor to it, but Dragon Blood is interesting. And it's a versatile heritage, not an ancestry.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to play a dragon person. Though, I mean, when it comes to, like, the missing ancestry feats, like, I just looked to the Dampier one. I can see that there's 2 missing. Like, I don't see what's stopping you from using the feats and the lineages and stuff from the other, like, books that aren't from Player Core 2. Like, they're not gone. I don't see what's stopping you.
Yeah.
Also, they're
Also,
still printed in other things.
As anything, well, kind of, not really, because moving forward, things that were in like the original core book and Advanced Player's Guide are no longer in print. So, print-wise, if they don't show up in this book, you have to hope they show up in something later. Otherwise, they won't be in print.
That's fair. Yeah, if it's the Advanced Player Guide.
Advanced Player Guide or core guide or core book. Biggest change to Investigator to me. You know what? Honestly, Investigator is a lot more interesting now, and a lot less niche in some of the situations where it's supposed to be good. Because now with the Pursue a Lead and Devise a Stratagem, the free action Devise a Stratagem can also apply to any creature that is related to or is a lead to the current like mystery you're on. So getting the free action Devise a Stratagem is way easier. Plus, with Person of Interest, it is a lot easier to get off. So now, honestly, you can play the Investigator a lot easier around the free action Devise a Stratagem. What level are the key spell feats for Monk now? I assume they're bunched up. Most of the ones did not change what level they were at.
In looking through it, it seemed like it was just like the same as before. They just got some of their names changed.
Good question. The new Pursue a Lead stuff applies to the archetype as well, right? Let's see. they all apply to the multi-class archetype as well. The same pursue a lead and divide stratagem can still be used the same. So, how does Glutton's Jaw? Oh, I saw this question earlier. Glutton's Jaw. Does the Alchemy and Fusion class DC apply to the Poisoner archetype as well as Toxicologist? That's a good question. We'll look into it in a moment. I saw it. Glutton's Jaw. All right. A Slavering Maw opens beneath a target. Oh, a Slavering Maw. Oh, interesting. Wasn't it a melee attack before? I'm pretty sure it was, right?
Let me look. What was it called?
Glutton's Jaw. This is under demonic. Now it's a range 30 feet. It's an attack. Actually, make a spell attack on hit. The mouth deals 2d6 piercing damage, and you gain a d4 temporary hit points that lasts until the beginning of your next turn. It heightens by 2d6 per spell rank, and the temporary hit points increase by a d4 per spell rank. Yeah, so it was actually a jaw attack before. Now it's just a ranged, you summon jaws to bite a foe.
Yeah, because it specifically says your mouth in the original.
Yeah, it was
because I was looking at it, I'm like, there's no ranged here, and it says your mouth. This is a melee.
That's the funniest thing you saw inside the book outside of Godbreaker. Unfortunately, right now it's only Godbreaker.
Because Godbreaker is so funny. Someone put it in the chat earlier, but it's literally a fighting game super. It's like the way when I read through it, I'm like, that's just a fucking Superman like move. That's when he like grabs you and just starts throwing you in the air repeatedly, like in Injustice. I'm like, that rules. I want that.
Felix the Kyurgin provides more raw frontline survival by healing than the mutagenist if someone wanted to play a frontline mutagen user. I disagree completely. You can still get infinite healing with revitalizing mutagen. You just keep chugging Juggernaut mutagens and then attacking with whatever weapons. If you're looking for pure survivability, if you're talking like bestial survival, they got some temp HP stuff, and with how easy they've made it to like combine extra mutagens together, it's still pretty good, if I'm being honest.
I am happy that Phoenix said they're gonna let me play Marvel versus Capcom in my Pathfinder. Finally.
Any confirmation of Shield Paragon? I did pin in that video the changes to the Shield Paragon, but I will read it here just for you. I did miss that. It was in my notes. I missed it. What can I say? There's not really an excuse. But it did change a little bit. It's been reworked a little bit, I should say. Where are you, champion? Here we go. Read it here. Shield Paragon requires that you have Blessed Shield. Your shield is a vessel of divine protection. When you're wielding your chosen shield, it's always raised, even without the use of the raise shield action. If the shield would be destroyed, it vanishes to your deity's realm instead, where a servitor of your deity repairs it. During your next daily preparations, the shield returns to you fully repaired. While the shield is gone, you can spend 1 minute to infuse a different shield with your Blessed Shield benefit until your true shield returns. And I believe there was the... Yeah, and then there was the question of if you had to pick a shield, and they didn't specify. It says, in your hands, a shield gains the minor reinforcing rune, and yada, 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 all the changes to the rune, or the benefits of the rune there. It doesn't say, unlike in armaments, where you select one item at the beginning of the day and can change it every day. So every shield essentially has that benefit. It's just now with the shield Paragon, your shield is like your shield will never get destroyed now, essentially. Your favorite shield. Thanks. I watched the video yesterday and didn't catch the pin. It took a minute for the pin to come out, so I don't blame you for missing it. Huh, interesting. Loses the HP break threshold buff, having the ability to switch to another shield could be useful. Yeah, so I mean, now you can just have multiple shields and bust through them if you really want to. People have been arguing about it. I say generally the shield is better because you save so much gold in the mid to late game, not needing to upgrade your shields. And even if you do get an upgraded shield, it still gives you a benefit anyway. But I think the gold value is a good benefit, but I can definitely see why people like the old shield ally better. So I think either one is okay. Granted, with some of the changes to shields, old shield ally was probably too strong.
Let's see. Oyman asks, does Tengu weapon familiarity still give access to Falcata? No, it does not.
Sag.
Yeah, gives you access to all uncommon weapons with the Tengu trait, which are 2 specific weapons that does that, and then 4 specific swords that it names. None of them are the Falcata. So no.
Are fortress shields printed in the book? That's a good question. Treasure trove. Oh, that might be magic. I miss it. Nope, there's no fortress shield in here. I believe tower shield is still a thing in the that should just be, you can just look that up on Archive and Ethics because I think that was in GM core. Player core. Yeah, tower shields are here. You can still train with Kata during your daily preparations, right? With what?
That's the sword.
Oh, it's a treasure vault item? Okay, yeah. If anything was in treasure vault, then this book is irrelevant to that. All right. Thanks for the dono. I didn't come through on my end, though, which is interesting. Double check the YouTube. Yep. All right. Thanks for the $4.99 dono from Joseph Citadino. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Since life oracles push the scales feat does what bones used to kind of do, what does bones curse bound feat do? That is fair. Oh, hey, there's the notification. Oh, right. I didn't turn my subs back on. Subscriptions, subscribers. Done. Cool. Which are probably good. We probably would have gotten a lot of messages. I've been getting tons of subs lately. That is, let's see, what is bones now, actually? I haven't looked at those feats because I'm going to do those feats.
136.
Yes.
Oh, good lord. Terrifying curse.
Bones. First of all, it's nudge the scales. Wait, who'd you say I used nudge the scales?
Life Oracles push the scale feat does what Bones used to kind of do. Like it's similar. So what is the current Bones
Nudge
curse
this.
on feat?
Oh no, they do. They both have the same one now. They both have the same feat, so it's the same thing, which is kind of weird now that I think about it. But yeah, they both have nudge the scales, which I'm sure. Yep, Flames and Tempest also share a feat of foretell harm. Oh, apparently, Zeph just checked out, and this must be for Tengu. You can get proficiency in a different sword trained every day.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because the old Tengu thing, you gotta pick a sword. You just gotta choose one.
Yep. During your daily preparations, you can practice with a weapon in the sword group that's in your possession. How is Ancestral Memories working now? Sorcerer Focus spell. There is no Ancestral Memories. Oh, no, that's Oracle. My bad. They have the same naming convention. Must be the higher level one. Or no, it's under... Ancestral Memories. Alright, you gain either a status bonus to your next attack roll you attempt before the end of your turn for an enemy within 60 feet. To your turn, or an enemy within 60 feet takes a -1 status penalty to a saving throw they attempt against a spell you cast before the end of your next turn. That's really good. Oh my gosh. That's actually really, really strong, good now, because I believe Ancestral Memories before, if I'm not mistaken, it used to just give you proficiencies. Like you just become trained in anything.
See, it's called the same. Yeah, I'm looking it up on Archive and Ethos.
Okay.
Let's see. Ancestral Memories. Choose any non-lore skill or a lore skill related to the ancient empire of which your bloodline sprang. Temporarily became trained in that skill and might gain other memories associated with an ancestor who is trained in that skill. If you attempt a task or activity that lasts beyond the spell's duration, use the lower proficiency modifier.
Is an action to use. So yeah, it's a +1 to spell attack roll. I think I missed that dialogue. So status bonus to your next spell attack roll, or -1 to the penalty to their saving throw. So it's kind of like a meta magic you can think of. It's just a more potent meta magic. That's really good though.
Yeah. Yeah, compared to this one that just gives you, I guess, a temporary trained proficiency.
God, holy crap. The stream has flown by. I can't believe we're at the hour 43 minute mark already. I just been so busy scrounging around trying to find people's questions.
Yeah, I've been paging through this like PDF, then Archive and Nethys repeatedly.
Yeah, geez. Yeah, any other questions anyone have, please put them in. I'm going to give some of my thoughts on the player core so far. Mostly, it's good. Paizo's loosened the reins a little bit. Some of the classes got to stretch their legs a little bit more. And I feel like for a good majority, most of the classes do feel better to play. I see you, Joseph. I'll get to your question here in a moment. Thanks for the $4.99 dono. The Oracle I feel kind of bad about, to be honest. I think Oracle is okay. I think Oracle as a class is going to function well. There's still a lot of good theming you can do around it, But I do agree with a lot of people that some of the fun about Oracle was working around your janky curses to do some fun stuff. And a lot of that got taken away. And now Oracle is pretty much just like a really solid caster, I have to admit. They got a lot of oomph, and some of those feats are sick. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, we're like, I think some of the fun of Oracle got sucked out, so.
It is also the like thing you will always have to deal with, sadly, whenever you do any redesign like this, is just you're going to change a playstyle, and so you run the risk of changing a playstyle, and people are going to be upset because they were attracted to the class because they liked the thing initially. It's the thing that drew them to it, and so now it's altered. Like Oracle, to me, like now this seems like, okay, I would like to play this. This seems really fun. Because old Oracle, I'll be honest, never really appealed to me because I kept looking at it and I'm like, I don't know, it seems like I have to do a lot of jank to get to like a barely functional state that I can just do all these other classes. And like the aesthetic is fun, and like that's what's really cool about Oracle. But like, I don't know, the playstyle is not fully my thing. Then I look at this and I'm like, oh, the aesthetic I like and a playstyle that appeals to me more. But I do feel bad for all the Oracle players that are saddened by this.
Undeath's Blessing, by the way, for Joseph here, is still touch, to answer your question. So I do also think it actually changed as well. So because of your donation, I will read it out. So it says, you instill within a creature the touch of the grave. For the duration, harm and heal spells treat that creature as undead. In addition, harm spells get a +2 status bonus to the hit points restored to the target. An unwilling target can attempt a will save to reduce this effect. Target is unaffected. The target heals half as much from heal and takes half as much damage from harm or failure effect as described above. So success and failure, I guess, are the same? I don't know. Oh, no, they fail. As intended. I see. The wording on that's bizarre. No, actually, so it just actually works the same. It's still touch, though.
Yeah.
Which does
suck. I looked at Archive and Nephis. Yeah, it's the same.
So, yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. Fulmius? Again... Fulmius. All right. How would you rank the remastered classes in Player Core 2? If I'm ranking by my standard, which is like how fun I think they are, or like how good some of the stuff is, Player Core 2, Alchemist reigns on top, followed by Monk, because Godbreaker's hilarious, and Monk getting better. Like it was James Case said that Monk also just got cleaned up a bit, which is really, really cool. Barbarian's bonkers now. No penalty to AC, raging at the beginning of combat. Barbarian's got some good stuff. So Barbarian coming in third. Investigator, my favorite class, funny enough, but not a lot's changed with them, so it's not like there's anything super exciting. Comes in fourth. I do like how you can devise as a free action a lot more often now, and some of their features got a little bit cleaned up, which is kind of cool. Swashbuckler fifth. Swashbuckler is just now easy to play, and you don't have to worry about making a skill check to get your class features, which is... Did Stunning Fist stay unchanged? I did see your question. I'll look into that here in a moment. Swashbuckler just feels easier now. Sorcerer looks more interesting, so that's good. And then last is Champion. Champion's okay. I don't feel like anything really substantially actually changed with Champion. They did get a little bit more activeness in some of their feats, but I didn't feel more compelled to play a Champion by reading over this. So, for my personal take, that's what it is.
Interesting. Incorrect opinions, but interesting.
Does Investigator's Alchemical Science work as bombs? No. It's elixirs and tools only. It stayed the same. Let's take a look at Stunning Fist, shall we?
Now called Stunning Blows.
Oh, I think you got a buff. Wasn't it before that you had to hit with both of your blows, or was it just either one before?
Let me double check. If either strike hits and deals damage.
Okay, so it's the same. So yeah, what it says is when you target the same creature with 2 strikes from your flurry of blows, you can try to stun that creature. If either strike hits and deals damage, the target must make a fort save against your class DC or be stunned 1 or stunned 3 on critical failure. This is an incapacitation effect.
Yeah, this is the same.
So yeah, it's the same.
It just has a different name now.
You can still throw the versatile vial as a bomb itself, I think, easy. That's a good question. I think you can throw the base versatile vial as a bomb. If that was a question before, then I think I misunderstood what you were trying to say. Because it says here, and I'll read it out loud again. During your daily preparations, you can create a number of versatile vials equal to your intelligence modifier. Statistics for versatile vial appears on page 58 of the Alchemist class feature. So yes, it is just a bomb. Scrounger archetype. I did see that question earlier. No, if I haven't answered your question, do not be afraid to ask the question again. There's a lot of people asking questions, so it's just whatever we manage to catch. So do not feel bad. Oh, wait. I remember why I was not going to answer this question. I'm not going to do a whole review right now. So, yeah, that's why. Anything new in the Scrounger archetype? I don't know. I'll do a video on Scrounger. I apologize. If you have a question about a particular part of Scrounger, I'll answer it. But is there anything new? I literally don't know, and I never used Scrounger.
I will say, as someone who's looked into Scrounger before, for a build or just character concept I was working on, it is different. It's got a couple feat change. Like, I know Magical Scrounger was there before. That's a new feat.
All right, well,
you can create a temporary wondrous item.
Okay, yeah, sure. Let's read it out. Since that one, I guess, is new. Once per day, you can cobble together a temporary magic item. The temporary item must be common, magical, half your level or lower, and be able to be held, wielded, or worn. Any craft requirements must be provided as normal. You can't cobble together a consumable, a rune, or an item with runes. If the item must be worn or affixed, removing it once it's affixed or Dawn destroys it. That's kind of cool, actually. So just every day, you can just cobble together a magic item.
Especially because what it's doing is it's reversing. Yeah, because I just pulled it up, Archive and Nethys. It's replacing high quality Scrounger, which is when you craft a temporary item using the Scrounger dedication, it can be a level 3 item, and you can craft it for someone else instead of yourself. Because that used to be the main thing. It has to be for yourself. Or you make something kind of shit, like it's a shoddy item if you make it for another person. And it looks like the whole shoddy thing is not here, actually. Oh wait, no, it is here. Never mind. They just moved it completely. But yeah, no, they just swapped out the feet. So yeah, that should answer your question.
A question here: does Quick Bomber work with Healing Bomb? Thank you, 2 for Fun, for the follow. For Healing Bomb, so this is actually a very interesting question, because it really depends on what you view the wording as. Because Healing Bomb before made the item into a bomb. That's not the case now. All it says is you can... you add a foamy catalyst to an elixir of life to turn it into a topical projectile. You can throw the elixir as though it were an alchemical bomb with the following results. And it does the healing bomb effects. It does not give it the bomb traits, And the wording of as if it were an alchemical bomb does not confer being a bomb onto it. So I would say Quick Bomber wouldn't work with Healing Bomb. Granted, I will say the general Kyurgin ability to just throw one of your versatile vials as a short range bomb is pretty good. So, you know, wording, it's not super clear. Nothing says it's a bomb, so technically Quick Bomber, which I do think requires you interact to draw a bomb, draw a versatile vial, or use a quick alchemy to create a bomb, then strike with the bomb. All refer to bomb. So, by the way, you left Oracle out of the class ranking. Oh, shit. Oracle, I would place below at the very bottom, sadly.
Oh yeah, I mean, fair. It did get changed up a decent amount. Like,
I genuinely do think the
bad
fun got sucked out of Oracle a little bit.
That's fair.
I think it's a very efficient class now. I think it works really well. But unfortunately, Oracle just kind of played into the problem of spellcasting balancing, where to let a class really do really unique stuff, you have to take away from some of the spellcasting. So it seems like they more doubled down on it. Now, Oracle is an insanely good caster. They get a lot of spells added to their spell repertoire just through general class features alone. They have access to 4 domains, and many of the feats that are curse bound are essentially focus spells, meaning oracles equivalently have 2 sets of focus points they can use, which is really good. All that is very solid. Many of the curse bound feats are equivalently focus spells. Lifelink did not get any changes. I do know that one because I'm working on that video today.
Speaking of knowing the answer to that one, it was asked just a little bit ago. Black Mist. What about Diabolic Edict? How's it looking like? I can answer this one. First Pathfinder character I ever played was a Diabolic Sorcerer. I can let you know, every single Diabolic Sorcerer focus spell is exactly the same. The only difference is the final one, Hellfire Plume, does spirit damage instead of evil damage. They just, because evil's not a thing anymore. So they're the same.
Is Alchemist now the strongest class in the game? No. It's a role-playing game. What do you mean strongest class in the game? Like, I guess that's understandable in some games where a class is like, oh, this class literally can just do everything. But Pathfinder is definitely not that game. So
I mean, if you're only doing combat, but then the game's not made for that. It's a tabletop role-playing game.
Even in combat, even fighter isn't technically the best. It really is situational.
Yeah, there are fights where your fighter is going to be bad, because it's just not your weapon isn't going to be good, or oh man, this is a fight where if I was playing a ranged fighter, it'd be so helpful right now. So many situations because you're not fighting in white rooms perfectly situated for you. And you might not be a combat oriented alchemist, but you're buffing everything so well, or you're mutating stuff all around. You're doing a lot of other things. That's just how the game goes. You make a class, does it well, and it's the fun of Pathfinder where, as we kind of say, you have to really try to make something bad. You got to really craft around to make something supremely busted, but all around it's going to operate very, very well. People will, I gotta say, Pathfinder 2nd Edition is a great game, and all the classes play really well as long as you don't have a loser in your ear trying to whisper to you saying that these classes are dog shit now.
Yeah, because
some people on the Reddit will do that.
Yeah.
Some people do that because a class or a spell or something does 1 less damage.
Do you think Toxicologist is in a good position now? I think they're definitely a lot better off. I mean, I 100% admit that a good number of creatures in the game standardly just have Fortitude as their best saving throw. But I feel like a lot of these people neglect to see the many options you can have that can reduce enemies' saves. So Poisoner is not just like, I think the problem with people in Poisoner is people think way 1-2 dimensionally with toxicologists in general. I answered the Poisoner question already, Jared. They're no longer on lower level poisons. Or no, actually, I don't think I answered this one. You know what? My bad. Let me answer this question while I talk about toxicologists. Toxicologists, like, legitimately, demoralizing an enemy makes them more susceptible to poisons. As strange as that is,
so good.
That's just a thing. Like, there are many ways you can reduce an enemy's fort saves. There are many alchemical items that are not poisons that can help in those situations. So, don't let people talk down about toxicologists. And now the fact that toxicologist poisons work on, like, constructs and undead, that's an insane buff. So, yeah, let's see here. No, so Poisoner dedication no longer restricts the level of items you can create. The base dedication says you can use advanced alchemy to create 4 alchemical poison consumables each day. You remember the alchemical poison formulas and don't need a formula book. And advanced alchemy gives you... Oh wait, no, actually, that might I actually might be wrong. No, maybe I'm right. I might be actually right. Depends on where that text is. Advanced alchemy.
While you're looking this up, funny, you just posted this, many numbered than Mark. We answered this right at the beginning of the stream, actually. Champion multi-class. You get the reaction, you don't get the aura. It might be an error, but at least as posted in the multi-class archetype, there is no aura for champion multi-class.
Yeah, aura is not mentioned. I'm assuming aura is intended to be used. So, oh wait, it was powerful alchemy, wasn't it? Because wasn't the question, are they still into lower level poisons, and can they use their class DCs for poisons? Powerful alchemy. Okay, so the items do not have to be lower level. They are up to your level. That has been answered. The innate dedication though does not increase them to your class DC, which would be silly because that's not even how it works for alchemist. But do they get a feat that lets them put it to their class DC? I would have to imagine they would. But maybe not. Blowgun, poison resistance, poison weapon. No. All right. You do not get to use your class DC for your poisons DC. That sucks for Poisoner. That's a huge downside for Poisoner. Yeah. So it is... Poisoner does not increase it to the class DC. Yeah. Alex, there's a bot. Did you get it?
No.
It might be on also. I can't
I got it.
tell. Okay. All right. Let's do one more question. Are there new feats in Thievery that interact with new action dirty tricks? I don't think so. Double check the feats. Nope. Oh, wait. Nope. No additional feats, just dirty trick. How do celestial brands work? How do celestial brands? Oh, this must, okay, it's blacksmith, so it has to be a sorcerer question.
I'm pulling up Celestial Brand.
All right.
A blazing symbol appears on the target, cursing it to face divine justice. You and your allies receive a +1 status bonus to your attack rolls and skill check against it. Anytime a holy creature damages it, the holy creature deals an additional 1d4 spirit damage. The target is then temporarily immune for 1 minute. Target 1 unholy creature for this. It lasts a round. This is the focus level 5 for the angelic sorcerer bloodline.
Alrighty, so that's gonna be the end of the Q&A part. I'll just give some final thoughts as I have to get back to making a video. If I want any chance of sleeping at a decent hour, I have to get back.
That is so fair. I have to go back to doing some more chores around my house because we're gonna have somebody, come by, take care of the animals for a little bit as we're gone. I gotta get my house a little orderly.
Back to the video making dungeon. Y'all have no idea. I've been working 14-hour days.
He has been fucking slaving away over there. Can attest.
But so as far as I think about player core, I mean, let me state this. Like, I wanna be completely honest with y'all. So, and good night for anyone who's currently leaving. But player core 2 has been insanely good for the channel. I've gained probably about 400 subs now in the last few days, which is a lot. Also, the biggest change video is my highest viewed video to date in the first 24 hours. And I gained 186 subs in 1 day, which is a record for the channel. So I've benefited a lot from player core. And Paizo sent me player core. So I want to make sure that's all made well aware to the audience that I do have some skin in the game. Player core 2 is great. I think this book is particularly... It did a lot of things. Alchemist got made simpler without necessarily losing all the things that made it really good. Champion didn't change as much as I think a lot of people really thought it was going to. It felt very samey. They did clean some stuff up, though, and I do like how they have a lot more activeness to it. Oracle is a high-functioning caster. Many of their feats are insanely good, but I do think they sucked a lot of the fun out of Oracle. Swashbuckler got some such needed changes. Investigator is my favorite class, and it got some slight buffs, so I'm super happy about that, but it was mostly unchanged. And Barbarian, I didn't think needed to get any scarier than it already was, and yet it's now scarier. Though I'm still sad that Fury Instinct still kind of sucks in comparison. It's kind of tragic. They got a couple new feats that are based on getting critted, which is such a weird thing to focus around, but here we are. I haven't checked this.
I didn't think Barbarian needed it, and then boom. And like, God, I do think you make a great point. We really went into this, and all the blog stuff they posted really hyped up the champion changes a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it really sounded like they were going to really shift it. And then when it comes to it, it's not much. Personally, I still stand by like my own read of it, where I think that it shifted champion to a point where I now am more willing to play champion. Simply because, like, I now just can take a more active role as champion, which was my problem. And also, I like opening up your class for just more character option. I always find that just a net good. So, it's great. And then you and me, man. Predator, like, handshake, a gif,
Yeah.
You and I complaining about Swashbuckler constantly. All of our wants, they've been met. It's so good now.
And Sorcerer just getting their potent sorcery just all the time now, super good. It makes Sorcerer such a fun class to give to a new player and let them feel impactful. And I think that's very solid. And not only that, but like what Player Core 2 represents is the finishing of the remaster project. So now all the people who are too concerned to join Pathfinder because they're like, oh, it's halfway through being remastered, I don't know if I want to play. What if my character changes? That's no longer going to be an argument. Granted, I feel like people who would make that argument aren't going to play now anyway, but still, that's no longer an argument. So I have to honestly say the Player Core 2 is such a good book, and I haven't even gone through the spells yet. So I feel like we're going to see a lot. And once Player Core 2 is done, once the community has settled in a couple months, then every new book we're going to be excited for. The bad part about the remaster in general is what happens when they exclude a feat. Because they had to exclude feats, and sometimes they had to exclude feats from the books for space reasons, not even because the feats they didn't want to move forward. So it's something that I feel like is really good for what classes are still legacy, like Thaumaturs. Don't think of legacy as like before and after remaster. Legacy is mostly like some of the core stuff. Thaumaturs, I'm playing a Thaumaturs currently. Thaumaturs is almost wholly unaffected by remaster changes. So don't worry about it. Summoner of any class has more problems, and also Magus. So those are the ones honestly I'm more curious about, but like most of the classes didn't even change.
Didn't change, or also some of them don't really need much. Like getting an errata would help, like especially like Summoner and Magus getting a errata somewhere would be super nice. But then a lot of the classes don't really need it, because the main point of this is to get the core classes up to snuff with the new classes, like Thaumaturge, like Psychic, like to get it up to that same level of design philosophy and like design like framework. Because the whole aspect is just, it's design creep in a tabletop game. They got better at making their game, so they wanted to juice everything up to a similar level and take what they've learned in creating this game and bring it back to the older stuff they did.
Yeah.
So that's what this is. Alongside the fact of legal separation, it's a nice time to juice everything back up and give us goodies along the way for like the annoyance of what a really player core remaster stuff actually will serve as in your games. The nightmare of looking up your feats again because they changed just a word in it. Because, oh boy, us in the first game back after the first remaster being like, okay, well, I'm control F'ing this, it's not here. What did they rename it to?
Right. Yeah, that's always rough.
That's the real nightmare. That's the actual fundamental change that will impact players. Is sure, you might get a +1 every once in a while. You might get a little thing. Now the names are different. Have fun looking them up.
Yeah. If I do say any of the classes does need a remaster or a relook over, it's honestly Magus or Magus.
Agreed.
Or however. I feel
I
like
refuse to let them win and say Magus.
I agree, honestly. I say Magus all the time anyway. I like Magus.
It sounds better.
People don't
it's
understand
it's actually
localization. Language has been localized forever. Whatever. That's a different conversation.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It has conflicting design, in my opinion. It's so action dense that you can't even do all the actions you want to do. It's really hard to justify getting into your arcane cascade, especially because many combats are so quick. Magus feels real rough. And I don't think the whole spell strike and using the focus spell to get it back is bad. I think Arcane Cascade just needs to be like a free action or something. That's honestly all I'm asking for, is just a little bit of tuning up so that you can get all the features. Good. Summoner, I don't know what y'all's problem with summoners. I've had 2 summoners now, and summoners feel really good. So the only
Summoner,
one
could use a small like errata maybe. Magus needs it more. It's literally our exact problem that we kept having with Swashbuckler of like, there's a right method of your turn to play Magus. Like you have to do a correct order of operations every time, and that's kind of lame.
Yeah, Fate Island definitely needs it. I'm just getting into Lancer,
Yes.
and I'm currently bringing content. Appreciate it, bro. I thank you. I will, after the player core and Starfinder and Tiancha character guide, get back to to Lancer content and Fabula Ultima content. So I still will be going back to more content, but right now we just have really big stuff, and this is healthier for the channel to focus on. Inventor could use a touch more than what they currently are. I disagree completely. Inventor's an insanely good class. And they did just errata it. So I do know Magus and Summoner are probably going to be errated sometime around November-ish. So look forward to that. Thaumaturge could use a wording brush up. I've not had the same problem, so I don't know what you're even referring to.
I've seen Thaumaturge like crush, honestly. It looks really good.
Like
everything.
They're solid.
Yeah. Your Thaumaturge, for everything you've described, is working as intended and sounds great. Because I know your Thaumaturge, as you've described the build, is pretty close to the one I've like theory crafted, like the 2. Because it's effective.
Yeah. I'm going Aldori Duelists Thaumaturge with a tome and weapon item currently. I don't have the 3rd item yet, which I don't even really care about the 3rd item, honestly. And it's crushing. It's so good. But yeah, so Player Core 2 is fantastic. I haven't even looked through the spells yet. I'm sure there's plenty of spells that are going to be very solid. And I feel like moving forward after all this is said and done, and all the stuff that was removed is removed, and all the community finally settles down, I think the game overall is going to be healthier for many of the changes. I haven't felt that many of the classes really got substantially better. The only one I really think needed it the most was Witch, to be honest. Because Witch felt almost like a discount wizard. I also had some problems with Sorcerer. People have argued with me on it. I didn't really feel it. I feel like Sorcerer definitely has a stronger place now.
Like, having played Sorcerer for an extended amount of time, it's just the problem of Sorcerer I found is, like, it's a perfect class to dump into the hands of somebody who's newer to the game. It's so good to learn, like, spell casting. It's so good. But then it's just a lot of their tools are underwhelming. So then they found a way to keep the class simple, but also make the tools a little less underwhelming. So they succeeded. I think they did some very good changes.
They made it juicier, and that's kind of just what it needed.
They bumped the numbers, and they made the very situational stuff less situational. So those are the two problems I had with Sorcerer that got addressed. So I'm happy. Am I going to play a Sorcerer anytime soon? Probably not, but I appreciate it because now I can very confidently give it to the hands of somebody and know they're going to have a good time. That's what I care about. I care about a new player that I could recommend Sorcerer to having a really fun time.
Yeah, and actually getting something out of it. So,
yeah,
and Darth, by the way, for anyone really, check Lancer out. Super good game.
Lancer's amazing.
If you want something that feels like a decent mix-up that's a little bit more strategy-based, go for it. It's a super good game. If you want something more narrative-based, Fabula Ultima, I highly recommend. Too bad for the uncommon bloodlines, though. They likely won't be seeing an update. Yeah, Oracle also has Ash and Time that also are now just completely, like, very different. Lancer, I hardly knew her. Chivalry. Phoenix Bloodline, yeah. And that's also some of the bad stuff that came with the remaster. So if I was to balance everything between the things that like are rough versus the things that are new, I feel like Paizo's making a good direction, and this is foundational. And there's some prices they had to pay. And I do think that in some situations like Oracle, I don't think they made the right design ideas around it. I think the class works really well. Like I said, many of their feats are really, really cool. But they did also just take away all the unique stuff from each of the mysteries, which to a lot of people feels really bad.
Yeah.
So, you know, no game is perfect, honestly. All the more reason why we cover multiple games here on this channel. And this is I think the biggest thing any of you should take moving forward. First of all, legacy content's okay. Talk with your GM. Also, legitimately, the best parts of any tabletop game are typically the stuff that exists outside of the rules. It's the stories, but more than that, it's even like the cool item your GM homebrews for you, or the cool extra feat you got because you did something awesome on your journey. The victories and the achievements you make in your games supersede what the rules are designed for. So if you like Old Oracle, just play Old Oracle. Who cares?
Honestly.
And if you feel like something needs to be adjusted, homebrew it up in your game. Do it. You know, don't let the Pathfinder rule purists tell you otherwise. It's your game. Do whatever you decide is best. With any of the Pathfinder 2e core changes, tune it up, because legitimately, from almost day one, I've not been playing the game rules as written for a good lot of things. I made movement feel better for my players. I've the whole dropping all your items when you fall unconscious, I think, is the dumbest thing ever. And there's so many other things that I don't like that I've homebrewed for my game, and we all have a blast, and that's what's important. So, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I really don't like the mentality I see around, and I think Pathfinder, and when you see it's a thing in crunchy games, and Pathfinder being a very crunchy game, you see it a lot. It's people really talking about, you know, major adherence to the rules. And yeah, like Paizo's not gonna like come into your house, shoot you because you're not following the rule. Like, oh, let's homebrew this, and they're not gonna kick your windows in, come get you.
Yeah, that's Watson's
They're
job.
cool like that. Yeah, exactly. When in reality they've talked about pretty openly. Funnily enough, there was a video about it.
Yeah, Mark Seifter made a video about it recently as well.
Mark Seifter posted about it. We had it in our TableTalk as well, talking about how like a lot of people view feats as allowances for rules, when in reality, like how they're designed is meant to be more like a framework and an idea to do something cool, like making a thing easier. So, you know, it's not, this is a game. Talk with your GM, do something fun, play Old Oracle. Everyone else plays player core, like remaster stuff. Who cares? Have fun.
Thank you, Tomaz. So yeah, you know, I think player core is really good. I've loved many of the changes. Honestly, my drive to play Alchemist has shot through the roof. So if I didn't promise myself that my next character had to be a spellcaster, my next character would be an Alchemist. So, you know,
I mean, you could still play an Alchemist. You can break your promise to yourself.
I really need to play a spellcaster. It's healthy for the channel if I play more styles of characters. And the closest to a spellcaster I played is Amagus.
I guess that's fair.
I'm doing it for work, and I can have fun with casters.
That's true.
I have some good cluster builds.
Not saying that it's anything like that. I'm saying, you know, you can play a class that you'd want to play. But if that's your reasoning, then you should do it.
I am against dual classing. I think it removes some of the fun in the game. If that's what you like to do, I won't bash you for it. I don't like it.
I'll bash you for it. That dual classing is shit. How could you? What's dual classing?
It's when you play.
I don't know what it is.
You level as 2 classes at once.
Wild.
And you get all the features of 2 classes.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
I don't know if I stand by my opinions anymore, but I've never done it. But I'll sit in a weird middle ground. I kind of mean it.
It's just like, okay, I'm just gonna play a fighter sorcerer or fire sorcerer, and there's like I get all the benefits of spellcasting and the best DPR in the game for the most part. You know, like obviously,
if we were doing an overpowered like game built around the idea of dual classing, that sounds hype as shit. But we'd have to do a campaign built around the idea of dual classing for me to get into that.
I would love a hardcore mode with dual classing. I think that'd be cool.
Yes. That'd be sick. Like a game where us being that busted and then the enemies are also like a little scarier and things are deadly. That sounds hype.
But I love challenge is the thing. I don't get upset when I do poorly in games. So that's kind of a me thing. But yeah, that's particularly why I actually don't like dual classing, because it solves more problems and doesn't give you more challenge. So yeah. Love me a juicy sorcerer. So yeah, I don't know. Player core is great, and man, we've gone well over time, but I'll finish off with a few more things here. Stay tuned, my audience here today, because I also will be getting the playtest material for Starfinder. I know someone was talking about Starfinder in the chat earlier. Sorry, I missed you, guy. So I'm going to be covering Starfinder, and when Starfinder fully releases, I'm going to be doing Starfinder in addition to the other games that we're currently covering on the channel as well. So more Paizo content there. Also, Qianxia character guide. Actually, let me real quick here. Flurry Ranger Rogue go Burr. Yeah, Flurry Ranger Fighter would be insane.
Good lord.
Dual class is silly. I don't mind people. Sometimes people really just want to smash something. They just want to be super overpowered, and I'm totally I get that for sure. No shade here. I just like more challenge personally, and dual classing is definitely not the way to get more challenge. Let's see here. Character guide. Okay, so the Qianxia character guide releases on the 28th of August. So I will likely see it somewhere around the 14th. Somewhere 14th, the week of the 14th, so the 11th to the 17th, somewhere in that range. So let's see here. I gotta try to get through player core by like the end of the month. Then Starfinder playtest releases, and then I got like a week and a half before Qianxia character guide.
Good lord.
Give me all your money. All of you. Give me your money. Uh, I it's the YouTube thing, right? I need to. I'm doing this to make the YouTube bigger. I have a family on the way. I got mouths to feed. No, I'm kidding, obviously. Hopefully I can bring the content. Hopefully the channel can grow to where we can get noticed more often. Heck, my videos have been showing up on the Reddit now, on Facebook, and multiple people are bringing my channel up in various medias. So we've been doing really good. So expect the channel to grow. Expect there to be more people here for the table talks. And I'm still committed to covering as many tabletop games as I can feasibly mentally comprehend at any given time. So if you want to see cool tabletop games and maybe even board games in the future, then buckle up. We're in for a good ride. Dragon Mouse to feed with adventures, I'm sure. So yeah, you know, I'm very happy to do all this, but it's also a lot of hard work. So I'm trying to make this as profitable as I can. Actually, speaking on that, one more thing before we leave. I've been partnered with Into the AM. You want a cool shirt that has holes in it that you can see through your body? That's not how it works, but you know, green screens. Check out my link in the description. Actually, I don't even think I have it here. I don't have it here. I'll have to add it. In my other videos, though, you can buy shirts. If you want graphic tees, I've been needing graphic tees. Buy them. They got good content, so they are very comfy. I haven't had really that much shrinkage after washing them a few times. And as well, you can get 3 graphic tees using my code for AA, too late to ask a question. But you can get 3 graphic tees for under $60, which is less than $20 a tee, which is pretty good, honestly. So it's if you want to help support the channel other than like donating or being a member. Oh yeah, also, I'm sorry guys, I get the more stuff to put out. Members of my channel, I've been uploading all these videos straight to members to release at the release time of like 8 a.m. So if you're up midnight, 3 a.m. sometime Pacific Standard Time, and you really want to get that content as soon as it comes out, members content, they're getting it like a few hours earlier. So, you know.
They're gamers. Of course they don't have good sleep schedules.
Exactly.
That applies to all of them.
That's why they belong in the membership program. But yeah, okay. I think that's it for me. Alex, you got anything before we head out today?
Yeah. If you're interested in lore content, go check out my channel. It's Glue Boy. It's linked in Cam's YouTube, or you can just look it up. I cover a lot of games. Some of the games I talk about are covered over here as well. Just, you know, lore capacity instead. Stuff like Warhammer 40k, Vampire the Masquerade, Lancer, game known as Trench Crusade, which you should definitely go check out. It's very, very cool. And I have some videos on Pathfinder, the 2nd edition specifically. Who knows, maybe when it starts dropping, I'll get into Starfinder lore. I've heard it's very cool. I've heard tidbits around in our streams that got me interested. So it might be a thing that I'd like. So I might look into it and make a video on that too when that drops. So we'll see. But yeah, if you wanna see some fun videos, go check out my stuff. I'll be posting more. I just got to get some actual production space set up again. But yeah, I'll have some stuff out soon.
All right, and for Christian Langdon, because I know the answer to this question. My favorite curse-bound feat is the Dead Walk. You can see it in my Orko video tomorrow, or you can see it in my biggest changes. That's a really cool feat. So yeah. Anyway, that's gonna be it for us. No more questions. Good night.
Good night.